So guys, the Juan Soto trade saga keeps getting worse and worse for the Nationals. A few days ago, it was reported that the Nationals didn't pay for Soto's plane out to the Home Run Derby. Last night, the Derek Jeter documentary was happening. Jeter tweets out, "Loyalty one way is stupidity," which was one of the quotes in his documentary, I guess. And then Soto puts a period and quote tweets it with a period and then deletes the tweet. So guys, I think it's very evident at this point the Nationals' relationship with Juan Soto is fractured to the point where he inevitably will be moved by the August 2nd trade deadline. And there are a number of teams that can, with the idea the Nationals are open to including Corbin in a deal, there are many teams that can afford the prospect haul it would take to get Juan Soto. And we're going to go through some trades. There are also some reports. And this is just a top 10 list of teams that could trade for Soto. I believe this is from John Heyman, or so, I don't know who it's from actually, but I'm just going to go through this and tell you guys if I agree with it. So the Padres at number 1, they've turned themselves into a bigger market and are drawing great crowds. Though their payroll is already up there, they have the prospects. Of course, I would probably agree the Padres are at least top 3. It gets a little complicated with San Diego because they already have a really bad contract as it is with Eric Hosmer. Would they also be willing to take on another horrible contract in Patrick Corbin? Of course, I would say they probably have the best three-headed young prospect group to offer the Nationals. Mackenzie Gore, potential ace, who's already in the MLB. He's already pitched well. C.J. Abrams, superstar franchise shortstop, great defender, good enough bat. And then Robert Hassel, the great outfield prospect, home run potential type player. They've got 3 great prospects. The issues with San Diego, if Corbin is involved in a deal, which we would expect he would be based on the reports that the Nationals want to have as little money on their payroll as possible when they sell the team, would the Padres be willing to take on that Corbin deal while already having Eric Hosmer's bad contract on their books? Maybe you get creative. Maybe the Padres say, we'll take half of Corbin's deal, and throw in another prospect or something like that. But they certainly have 3 great young prospects to offer. The Dodgers, number 2. So this would be my number 1 team. Dealt with the Nationals last year at the deadline. Have more prospects left. Yeah, the Dodgers have the number 2 farm system in all of baseball. So they certainly have the prospects to deal them. There were some Dodgers fans that were saying they didn't want to give up Gavin Lux because they're likely to lose Trey Turner in the offseason and Lux becomes his replacement, which does make sense. They're probably not going to be able to pay Trey Turner, so they lose him, and Lux slides right into the replacement for Trey Turner. So we'll see if they want to do it. I'm sure the Nationals would love to get Gavin Lux. They'd love to get Will Smith, the young catcher. I don't know if the Dodgers would want to do that, but it's a situation where the Dodgers, they know with their payroll that if they got Juan Soto, they would be able to re-sign him, and they have facilitated taking on a bad contract in the past when they took on the David Price contract to get Mookie Betts. This would be very similar. You're still giving up 3 or 4 top 100 prospects and then probably a young position player while also taking on the Corbin deal to get Juan Soto, and then you would inevitably if you're going to trade your entire farm system, you're going to want to re-sign Juan Soto to a long-term deal. The Cardinals, number 3, they do extremely well financially. Liberatore, Gorman, Jordan Walker, and yeah, they've got a great young talent pool with Jordan Walker as a prospect, Matthew Liberatore, the starting pitching prospect, Nolan Gorman, Carlson, the outfielder who's already, been up with the team for multiple years. He's still young. I don't even know if he's hit arbitration yet. So those I would say are the top 3 teams, but I would put the Dodgers at number 1, the Cardinals at 2, and the Padres at 3. The Rangers I really don't agree with. They're a big-time player now. They just don't have the prospects for it. They don't have the young players for it to trade for Soto. The Mariners, possibly. It seems to be a long shot. but they do have the prospects to make the deal, and they do have... They're not tied into any major contracts. Now, they did sign Robbie Ray, but other than that, Julio Rodriguez is a rookie. He's not going to have to be paid for a while. That's a very interesting situation. So the Rangers, I would say no, but the Mariners, yes. And then we have the Astros at number 6. Though they haven't gone for a monster deal, they could afford it. I don't think they could afford it, honestly. They would have to give up like Kyle Tucker, who I'm sure they really wouldn't want to do, and that would be another situation where it would be counterintuitive. Why would you trade Kyle Tucker when you're trying to get Juan Soto and you're trying to compete? Maybe you could deal a young pitcher, but I'm not sure the Astros have I don't think the Astros have the farm system to make this happen. Maybe Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena is a really interesting young prospect who's actually up with the team right now. He's played, he's got like an 830 OPS. He was injured, but Jeremy Pena is a stud, although he is a 24-year-old rookie. The Yankees, so I would move the Yankees up slightly. They have the money. Well, I actually don't know if the Yankees have the money. Would the Yankees be open to taking on Corbin's full contract with already Giancarlo Stanton and his terrible contract? Garrett Cole has a really bad contract. I'm not saying either of those players are bad, but their contracts are horrible. I mean, if you're paying a pitcher $33 million late into his 30s, it's not a good contract. It's just not. It's a sunken contract. So would the Yankees, having already had those two contracts, be willing to take on Corbin's deal, his full deal? I would be shocked. That would probably push their payroll above $300 million. Corbin's, I think, is due $24 million next year, and then the year after that, $35 million. It's a heavily backloaded deal. Obviously, it would be an interesting dynamic since they already have one superstar right fielder to it. Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's why you have a DH spot. And Aaron Judge has been playing center anyways. The Mets, number 8. Yeah, so the Mets, I don't see any scenario the Mets are going to be able to trade for Juan Soto, being a division rival. And the Nationals also know if the Mets are giving up their entire farm system for Juan Soto, they're going to sure re-sign Juan Soto. So you would be facing Juan Soto in division 19 times. Well, it's not going to be 19 times a year because they're changing the scheduling format, but you're not going to do that. They're not going to. The Mets are just not a realistic option in my eyes. So right now, I still think it's the Dodgers, the Cardinals, the most realistic. The Padres, certainly, if they want to take on money. The Yankees theoretically could do it if they want to take on a lot of money, but those are kind of more far out there. And then the dark horse right now, in my opinion, would be the Mariners. The Mariners, very aggressive. What are they on, a 14-game win streak right now? That would be crazy. I mean, Seattle would start drawing sellouts. I'd say that'd be so great for baseball if you went to Seattle. I'll be honest, it would. But I think it would also be great for baseball if he went to St. Louis. If Juan Soto did. So this is a potential Cardinals deal for Juan Soto, including Patrick Corbin. So you're taking on the full Corbin contract, and you're giving up Tyler O'Neill, who's already up with the big league club, Jordan Walker, the superstar prospect, and then Mason Wynn, who's another really good young prospect. If you're the Cardinals, I think you have to like this trade. I will say it is funny. We all love the prospect hug. Like, I'm a Guardians fan, and the idea of trading the Guardians have the best farm system in baseball. The idea of trading any of our top prospects, I would be pissed. And the Cardinals, I've seen their fan base, they're like, we're not trading Jordan Walker. We're not, because everyone loves their own prospects. They just do. It's like, it's for Juan Soto. You're going to re-sign him. But everyone we can't help it. We love our own prospects. The Red Sox, the Red Sox, their situation, number one, I think they're going to trade Bogaerts before the deadline. The way they operate, I think giving Bogaerts a long-term deal is not very smart. The way his defense profiles, he's going to have major defensive regression. His range is going to regress significantly. They already gave Trevor Story, I would say, a bad contract. I don't think they're giving Bogaerts a big deal. I think they're going to give Devers the massive deal. But this would be a trade for Soto and Corbin, which, my God, you're trading for Corbin's contract and you have to pay Devers a monster deal. I don't know if they do this, but you can see Mayer, the top prospect, they got him 4th overall after the pandemic year, I think. So That would be a haul. If I'm the Nationals, I think I could probably do better than that haul. I know the value aligns, but I don't know. And then here's the deal with the Yankees. So I've been seeing people do this. I'm not understanding it. Why would it make sense for the Nationals to trade for Nestor Cortes? You know, with where they're at, you're going to want younger talent. I think Nestor Cortes is 27. I don't know what his contract looks like, but it's not like he has 5 years left on his. He's going to be a free agent. And from the Yankees' perspective, it doesn't make sense either unless you're somehow getting Luis Castillo, because your starting pitching depth gets shot. You don't know what's going to happen with Severino. He's been shut down. Jordan Montgomery is nothing special. Jamison Tyon is really slowed down. So I don't see, and like the deal just doesn't make sense. Now the Yankees could do this. They have the prospect pool. If you package together Wells, Volpe, Sweeney, Dominguez, you can get it done. But do the Yankees want to gut their entire farm system for Juan Soto? If I was a Yankees fan, I would say yes, I would do that. But I don't know if Cashman wants to do that. He's been known to prospect hug before. Mariners, a potential deal here for Corbin and Soto. You can see Kirby and Marte, the two top prospects. George Kirby, who's already made his MLB debut, and then Marte, he's a middle infield prospect. Light hitting, but I believe he's more of a second baseman than a short. Actually, I think he is a shortstop. Also Ford, who is a young catcher prospect. So those are four good prospects the Nationals would be getting, but I think if the Dodgers wanted to, they could outbid this. And I also think the Cardinals could outbid this. It just depends. Do the Cardinals and Dodgers want to go all in for Juan Soto? If they do, they can outbid anyone. But the question, do they want to do it? Do they want to take on Corbin's contract? This is one, I'll be honest, I would hate this. The four prospects the Guardians would be giving up, this is our future. We're not giving up these guys. Again, we love to prospect hug our own players, though, right? Trading for Juan Soto. There's no way the Guardians would do this. Juan Soto, they cannot afford to sign Juan Soto to a contract, especially with Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez has a really good deal. He took a discount, but it's still a bigger contract for the Guardians' payroll because they are such a smaller market team in terms of their owner not wanting to spend money. So, those four prospects, that would be an amazing haul. You get off of Corbin's deal and you get four I wouldn't say Tyler Freeman's a superstar. Two potential aces, a potential superstar outfielder, and a really good hitting second baseman in Tyler Freeman. There's no way the Guardians would do that because they wouldn't be able to re-sign Soto. It wouldn't make sense to gut your system for that deal. And then here's another Yankees deal. Again, I'm not understanding why the Nationals would want Jordan Montgomery. So it's another situation where they're going to want, if it's for the Yankees, the Yankees don't have the young MLB-ready players to trade the Nationals. If the Yankees are trading for Juan Soto, they're giving the Nationals basically their entire farm system, their top 5 or 6 players in their farm system, in my opinion. I've also seen Gleyber Torres to the Nationals, which is another one. I don't understand how that makes sense from the Nationals' perspective. Gleyber Torres is going to be a free agent after next year, so even if you trade for Gleyber Torres, you're gonna have to give him a massive contract in a year and a half if he continues hitting this well. So that does not make sense for the Nationals. This is the award. I might be doing one of these every video now. I just find a horrible trade. So this is probably, look at the trade values. The Angels are getting -29. The Nationals are getting -27. The Nationals are trading Patrick Corbin, Juan Soto, and all of Steven Strasburg's horrific contract to the Angels for Anthony Rendon's horrific contract and Shohei Ohtani. It's amazing. And then this is the Padres potential trade package that we've talked about. Abrams, Gore, Hassel. This is actually without including Corbin. So I wonder right now if the Padres said, we'll take on half of Corbin's contract, we want Juan Soto, we will give you Hassel, Abrams, and Gore. Would the Nationals do that? I mean, obviously they're not going to do it right now. They want to see what other offers they can get. But could that realistically be the best offer they get? You're trading for a potential ace pitcher, superstar outfielder who's going to hit 30 home runs a season, and a franchise-level shortstop. That might be your best overall option in terms of high-end talent from the Padres, and it's a situation. Do the Padres want to eat Corbin's deal? Would they negotiate something to where they only take on half of his deal? That's where we get into. But right now, I think you're looking at the Dodgers. You're looking at the Cardinals. You're looking at the Padres. And then other teams, maybe a dark horse like the Mariners. The Yankees are always going to be there. But because the Yankees don't have young, controllable talent at the MLB level right now, the Yankees would have to, it would be Volpe, Dominguez, Wells, their pitching prospects, Sweeney, their entire farm system, as opposed to these other teams like the Dodgers could give up Will Smith. I don't know if they would. You could give up Gavin Lux. I don't know if they would. Again, Dodgers fans have said they're not trading Gavin Lux because he's going to replace Trey Turner when he leaves next year in free agency. So we'll have to see. Juan Soto, though, the big news, he's tweeting, the tweet with Derek Jeter about loyalty. Obviously, the relationship with the Nationals is fractured. That would lead me to believe, and many people are reporting, there will be a trade that gets done by August 2nd. It makes sense for the Nationals in terms of the potential prospects they can get back for him, and it does look like they also want to include Patrick Corbin in that deal. So that's where we stand right now in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. We will see what happens. About 10 days away from this happening. I don't know when it's going to happen. It'll probably be right up against the deadline, I would guess, because these teams are going to start upping their offers. And if you're the Nationals, you absolutely make these teams bid against each other because Juan Soto is going to be in extremely high demand. And I'm sure teams are going to up their offers. Things are going to happen. We will see. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.